I'm Shania, and this is One News Now. Democratic candidate Joe Biden moved closer to victory over incumbent Donald Trump as key battleground state Wisconsin completed its flip to blue. The latest Reuters projections show Biden up to 253 electoral votes, just 17 short of the required race to 270 votes to take the presidency. He is still leading in Nevada and Arizona, which would round up the last 17 electoral votes Biden needs to win. Meanwhile, Trump is still at 214, although a handful of states are still counting votes. Trump's campaign is banking on picking up Georgia's 16 electoral votes, though his lead in that state has been continuously narrowing. Meanwhile, Trump is still maintaining his lead in North Carolina, in Pennsylvania, and Alaska, albeit also by a small margin. As such, Trump's campaign is not ready to concede just yet. Recall that they are still seeking a recount in Wisconsin after media outfits called that Biden had picked up the state's 10 electoral college votes. Biden is urging his supporters, meanwhile, to stay calm and be patient while waiting for all votes to be counted. After all, Trump's challenger said he is confident that he and Kamala Harris will emerge victorious once all votes are in and tallied. Back here in the Philippines, President Duterte criticized the Philippine Red Cross for resuming its COVID testing services only after the government paid half of its 1 billion peso debt to the organization. In a televised cabinet meeting, Duterte called the PRC mukhang pera. To tell us about this, Maricel Lili joins us live from Mandaluyong. Hi, Mase. What prompted President Duterte to issue this comment about the Red Cross?
Hi, Sean. Actually, last night, Health Secretary Francisco Duque is just giving his usual briefer to the president. He mentioned what he thinks is the huge impact of the Red Cross to the testing capacity of the government. He said that the decision of Red Cross to temporarily stop the swab testing is a huge setback for the government's effort against COVID-19. And then suddenly, out of the blue, the president just mentioned mukhang pera. But there was no explanation about it, why he mentioned about that specific line against the Red Cross. But as we all know, PhilHealth is now paying the debt to Red Cross, although there is still some left.
That comment out of context from the hip. But still on the pandemic, Mase, did the president give us any updates about the country's plan in procuring COVID-19 vaccines?
It was actually Secretary Galvez, who was just recently appointed as the vaccine czar, who gave an update. He presented his roadmap or the plan of the government on how to procure the vaccines. He actually earlier stated that the plan is to finish the evaluation come December 2020, and hopefully the earliest is to procure vaccine against COVID-19 by March or up to May of 2021. The president mentioned that our priority or the government's priority is to give free vaccine to the poorest of the poor. But of course, for those who can afford, they can take good care of themselves once the vaccine is available.
All right, good to note. Now, we also have this survey by Washington-based Gallup Group ranking the Philippines as one of the world's safest countries, 12th in fact. This is, of course, despite the administration's controversial war on drugs. I know the president and Secretary Anyo reacted favorably to this, but what gives?
Yes, as expected, it's a welcome development to Malacanang. Both Secretary Anyo and the President are happy with the result of this Washington-based study, saying that it simply shows that the public recognize that the government's priority is to maintain peace and order in the Philippines.
All right, now on corruption issues, let's start off with the supposed irregularities this time around in the distribution of the SAP or SAP funds. How many local officials have been slapped with charges over this, if any?
Interior Department Secretary Eduardo Año last night said that there are about 1,200 local officials who are now under investigation for the issue of the distribution of the social amelioration fund. And so far, there are about 180 plus barangay captains, barangay officials who are now facing charges because of the distribution of SAP.
All right, thank you for all those updates from last night's address. Marcel Halili reporting to us live from Mandaluyong City. On the weather, we have severe tropical storm Shawnee making landfall over Misanga Island in Itbayat, Batanes just this morning. Tropical cyclone wind signal number 2 is still up in Batanes and Babuyan Islands, while signal number 1 is still up over the northern parts of the mainland of Cagayan, Apayao, and Ilocos Norte. STS Shawnee may still slightly intensify as it moves westward and is expected to move towards the coast of Taiwan within the next 12 hours. The tropical cyclone is forecast to exit the Philippine area of responsibility tonight. Shawnee is bringing heavy rains over parts of northern Luzon, including the Cordilleras and Cagayan Valley. Meanwhile, Metro Manila and the rest of the country will be experiencing generally fair weather today. We also have another low-pressure area near eastern Mindanao, and this is set to enter the PAR tonight. Pagasa says it may reach the general direction of eastern Visayas by tomorrow. This LPA could also develop into a tropical depression within the next 48 to 72 hours, and we will be calling it Tonyo by then. The Environment Department and SM Prime are set to deploy new water quality monitoring equipment over at the Manila Bay today to aid in the ongoing rehabilitation. To give us the latest update from on the ground, Shyla Francisco joins us live from Manila. Hi, Shyla. Tell us about these new equipment. Are they effective? Are you seeing them working?
Sean, the program is about to start, but as early as 8 a.m., we've already seen some of the officials setting up some of the equipment that will be used for the project. Officials from the SM Prime are set to deploy water quality monitoring equipment in Manila Bay. This is part of the latest partnership of the DENR with the private sector for the Manila Bay rehabilitation. 7 buoys will be scattered in the waters of Parañaque and Pasay, while 3 land-based water quality monitoring equipment will be stationed in waterways entering the bay. This equipment will monitor real-time data, which will then be transmitted through a website assigned solely to monitor the water quality. The DENR hopes this will be beneficial to aid them in future projects for the Manila Bay. Increasing water quality is among the priorities of the DENR in rehabilitating the bay. They aim to lower the fecal coliform count to 100 most probable number per 100 milliliter. This is the standard level for coastal and marine waters, which means it is also safe for swimming. Sean, later we are expecting Environment Secretary Roy Simatu to inspect the equipment and inspect the situation here in this. Sean?
All right, thank you very much for that update. Waiting to see how that will work. Shyla Francisco reporting to us live from Manila. For more updates, visit News 5, the Philippine Star, and Business World online. Visit our website, onenews.ph, for more in-depth analysis. You can also catch One News on the Signal Play app. Register for a free account at www.signalplay.com and stream One News live anytime, anywhere. I am Sean Yao, and we are One News.